Welcome back to the crap that I call YouTube videos. You're welcome. Look, today I wanted to do a video about something that I got a YouTube comment question about. On one of my other videos, somebody commented, "Hey man, what's it actually cost to get started investing in real estate?" And I sat there and thought to myself, wow, I started a YouTube channel about a year ago, and the purpose of the channel was to talk about the real-time documentation of investing in real estate and what it takes and what it is. And somehow, 30, 40, 50 videos later, I don't have a video named "How much money does it take to get started in real estate investing?" So I apologize for that oversight. Seems like that was kind of a stupid mistake on my part. Thank you, my friend, for asking that question. So a couple of different things that you're going to want to have to take into consideration, okay? The cost that it's going to take for you to get started in real estate investing is going to be different depending on where you live, okay? I live just outside of Seattle. It's an incredibly expensive real estate market. The average cost of a house is north of like $600,000. That's a lot of money in everywhere in the country, including here. And in my mind, that's a lot of money. In other parts of the country, it's not going to be nearly as expensive. So remember, everything is relative. For the sake of this video, I'm going to go ahead and use my numbers, what I paid to get started, as the first example that I talk about. So for me personally, I bought a $450,000 duplex. The duplex is a little bit outside of Seattle to save on cost. And I spent nearly $500,000, right? So $450,000 is the cost of the duplex. Now, that's not what I actually paid to get started investing with this multifamily rental property. There was a few things that I did to ease the struggle that I was going to have financially to make my goal a reality. So number one, instead of buying a rental property and putting the 20% down on it that most banks are going to ask or require for you to get into a rental property, I did what's called house hacking. Look at some of my other videos if you want a better explanation of that. I house hacked it. In other words, I'm going to live in one side of the duplex and only rent out the other side. Because if you live in a property, if you're buying a house to live in it, if you're buying a duplex to live in it, you can get a loan with a lot less money down, okay? So what I did, instead of paying 20% into this property, which 20% of 450 grand is $90,000, I house hacked and I put 5% down. So that's $22,500, which is still a lot, okay? I'll give you that. That's still a lot of money. But I was able to put down $22,500 for the down payment. Next thing I had to account for was inspections and closing costs, right? That was another $8,000. So now I'm at $30,500. Last thing I had to do was I had to figure out how to get my debt to income ratio down a little bit more so that the Caliber Home Loans, who did my loan, would approve the loan, that the underwriter would approve the loan. So they suggested to me, hey man, why don't you pay your private mortgage insurance, which is going to be required if you put less than 20% down. Why don't you pay your private mortgage insurance up front instead of a monthly amount of $150 a month going onto your monthly payment where now you don't qualify for the loan? Why don't we pay that all up front? And then you'll be able to have a lower debt to income ratio. And I said, okay, sure, how much is it? And they said $4,800. So about $5,000, paid that all off. So $22,500 for the down payment, $8,000 in closing costs, and another $5,000 in the private mortgage insurance, and you're at a grand total of $35,500 to get into one single duplex in the Seattle area. That's a lot of money, all right? I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to say, oh, that's just so cheap. Maybe to somebody it is, but I'm not Richie Rich, okay? Or Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates, who both conveniently live within, 50 miles of me. If you want to get into a rental property, think about where you live. If you don't live in Seattle, these numbers go way the heck down, provided you don't live in like Manhattan or San Francisco either, all right? If you live in one of those places or here, it just sucks to suck, dude. Like, it's a tough life being us. All right, so now I want to talk about what it could conceivably cost you, the average person living in some much more sane place, than it costed me. Let's take $200,000 because $200,000 is close to the national average for what you would maybe see to pay for like a house or a duplex, something like that, right? It's a much more reasonable number. Again, that may be way high for some places and way low for some places. People down in the comments like, $200,000, that's a fortune. I live in Podunk, Alabama, and they'll hate on the Midwest. I'm from the Midwest. Well, Alabama's the South, but another of the, if you're not the East or the left coast, we just don't get love, right? The Midwest and the South, we have the Southwest, we all just kind of get lopped in as like flyover states, whatever. I love you guys. If you had a $200,000 property right? Say it's a single family home, which I don't recommend. I recommend doing a duplex. Watch my other videos as to why. Okay, house hacking, remember, $200,000 property. Your down payment on that at 5%, which again, you may be able to get in with 3.5% down. But let's just say 5% because that's what I did. $200,000 house, a down payment of 5% is going to be 10 grand. Okay. Now your closing costs are no longer going to be $8,000 because those are relative to the size of the loan. Your closing costs are probably going to drop from 8 grand down to maybe 3, maybe 4. So now you're at $4,000 in closing costs, $10,000 in a down payment, and most likely you won't even have to pay the private mortgage insurance up front like I did, because I was so close to that line that they were like, hey, we could do this and we could drop you down below for your debt to income ratio and you'll be able to afford it and purchase this property. Most of the time it's either you're not close enough at all and you're just going to have to look for a different property, or you're below the debt to income ratio and it never becomes an issue. So get rid of that $5,000 expenditure. Realistically, you should be able to get into a house for $14,000, $15,000. And again, this is actually estimating on the high side, which is what I usually do because I don't like to lowball things in my mind. I like to prepare for the worst and then hope for the best. So $15,000, which again, I'm not suggesting by any stretch of the imagination is an easy or easily saved amount of money. It's probably not, okay? Believe me, I'm the guy who lived paycheck to paycheck with $500 in my bank account for the last 8 years of my life until I turned 26, and I'm now 28, okay? I understand what it's like to be poor, to work minimum wage, to have 3 jobs or a second job, to have to think to yourself, well, I really can't go out, and my gym membership's kind of expensive. I definitely can't buy that new car. I understand. I get it. I empathize with you, but you know what? You just got to do it. Dude, this is the hand that you've been dealt as a poor person or as a normal person, right? We're not rich people who get to be rich and get richer because daddy's trust fund is going to accumulate X number of dollars in my name. And then, of course, I'll have access to it at the young age of 17 or 18.
Yeah, real quick, yeah. Just to give you an idea of what we're dealing with here, you want to actually be able to do what it takes to get that property you want. Here's the sacrifices you have to make. You see this thing? Do you see this garbage piece of crap, nasty, disgusting 1992 Geostorm that's older than my girlfriend and almost as old as me? Yeah, I probably shouldn't put the license plate in the video. You're welcome. Find me in real life and fight me. This is the type of stuff that you know what? Do you think this thing has AC? Pfft, you kidding me right now? Do you think this thing helps me get the ladies with this paint job? Yeah. I jokingly mentioned to my girlfriend's mom, I was like, well, clearly she's with me for my gorgeous car. And her mom looks at me and she looks me straight in the face and she goes, not this girl, not that car. If you want to be able to get into this property, buy yourself an investment property, begin the house hacking process, you're gonna have to save the money. So get rid of debt, cut costs, stop living lavishly, and put your nose to the grindstone and work. Save that money up, and when you buy that house, that cheaper house in a much more affordable market than the one that I live in, I sincerely hope that you document the process, upload your own YouTube videos, get that stuff some likes and subscriptions, because God only knows the people out there sure as heck aren't liking or subscribing my stuff. So there's a market of people out there that will actually appreciate and cheer you on. There's gonna be a cost in terms of your time, your energy, your effort, things that you're gonna have to sacrifice, gratification you're gonna have to delay, the shoes, the clothes, the cars, the parties, the clubs, the beer, the booze, whatever it might be that you have to put off now in order to make your dreams, your goals a reality. It's the hand we were dealt, not being able to say we came from the middle class or the upper middle class or the 1%. But it is possible. If you want it to happen, this is the path. Watch the stupid videos on my channel that aren't worth anything except for the information in them, okay? I'll stand by the information, but not the editing quality and not the presenter and lack of quality. But the information's good, okay? It's worked. It's worked for me, somebody with no college education, somebody who grew up unbelievably poor from a broken household, who's in this ridiculously expensive place. You can make it happen. It's just gonna be hard. It's a more difficult path to walk. This isn't trying to like inflate my own ego, which probably can't get any bigger as is. But this is not me just trying to like pat myself on the back and say, hey man, I did a super great job. This is me sincerely caring about the people out there who came from tough backgrounds like me. And I don't want you to get taken advantage of by internet scammers who are like, hey man, you want like some Instagram thoughts and you want like 6 Lambos and you want a house on the Hollywood Hills. Well then buy my super product down below and you'll get the secrets to success. Bro, there's no secret. There's no secret. You know that, right? The secret is the same that it's been since the dawn of time. Hard work, and time, grit, and never giving up. You put all 4 of those things together and it equals success. You take one of those things out and you're going to fail. The only way you don't fail by removing one of those things is if you add luck into it, right? If you get rid of one of those things I just said and you put luck in its place, yeah, you can still be successful. But if luck isn't a factor, right, inheritance, something like that, where you got lucky, you're going to need those 4 things to be successful. That's just how life is. Embrace it, love it, realize this is the game we're playing, and get as good at this game as you can possibly be. Teach your friends how to play it, teach your family how to play it, be the freaking best all-star LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Tony Hawk, Tiger Woods that you can be in this field. You can make it with real estate if you learn, study, and apply that knowledge and work hard. It is possible. Take the time, invest in yourself, invest in researching and learning about it, and then freaking get the guts to start. That's the hardest part sometimes. Have the guts to be the guy or girl that does something, instead of just watching another video after this one, and then another video. Maybe you buy a book that you read 2 chapters of and then finish. Don't be that guy.